Hello, welcome back to the next episode of my podcast. My name is Justina, and I'm a life coaching training and your companion on this inner growth journey. And in the last episode, we talked about what life coaching is and how it can support you. So, today I want to dive into something so many of us struggle with, um, but rarely talk about it honestly, which is feeling stuck. You know that feeling when you say, I know what I should do, but I'm not doing it. I feel like my life is on pause. Everyone else seems to be moving forward, and I'm still here. And then your mind whispers, maybe I'm just lazy. Um, in this episode, I want to show you why you feel stuck, why it's not because you're lazy or broken, and what small steps you can start taking to gently move forward again. And I want to start by saying this very clearly. Feeling stuck is a human experience. It's not a personal failure. So there has been many moments in my life when I felt stuck too. Um, this year had been extremely difficult for me. I felt anxious, scared, overwhelmed, and there has been situations where I thought there's no way for me to actually move forward and change my life. But thankfully, I met right people during my journey, and they were able to help me and show me my possibilities. I really appreciate that I met them because they really helped me a lot. And for me, it actually showed up as staying in a situation that didn't feel right, overthinking every decision, and scrolling on my phone instead of doing what I said I'd do. And on the outside, it looked like a procrastination, but on the inside, it felt like confusion, fear, and a heavy pressure to get my life together. And maybe you've had thoughts like, what's wrong with me? Other people manage, why can't I? Or I'm just not disciplined enough. But here's what I really want you to hear. Most of the time, you're not stuck because you're lazy, you're stuck because you're overwhelmed, scared, or misaligned. So let's talk about what's really going on underneath that stuck feeling. So sometimes you have too many options, too many responsibilities, or such a big goal that it feels impossible. And your brain goes into a freeze mode. Like, if I don't do nothing, I don't have to risk failing. So you don't move, um, not because you don't care, but because your system is overloaded and trying to protect you. So, change sounds exciting until you realize that it might mean stepping out of your comfort zone, being judged by others, disappointing someone, or facing the possibility that it might not work out. So, a part of you wants the new life, and another part of you is terrified. And inside, there's this quiet tug of war. I want more, but what if it goes wrong? And that conflict can look like procrastination, self sabotage, or laziness, but really, it's just fear. Sometimes you feel stuck because your goal is too vague. Like, I want to be happier, I want to work on myself, I want to get my life together, and your brain doesn't know what action to take with that. So, no clear direction means no clear action. Um, that leads you to stay in the same place and then you blame yourself. But it's not because you're incapable. You're just trying to walk to a destination you haven't defined yet. And you might feel stuck because the path you're on is based on other people's expectations, what looks good on social media, what your family or society says is successful. So your mind says, we should want this, but your heart says, I don't feel connected to this. And of course, you can't move forward easily towards something that doesn't feel like your truth. Sometimes stuckness is your inner self whispering, this isn't the right direction for me. So let's rewrite the story together. Instead of thinking, I'm lazy, I'm useless, I'll never change, try this. I'm not lazy, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not broken, I'm scared. I'm not behind, I'm just at a pause. Feeling stuck can actually be a message. It might be telling you something needs to change, or something needs attention, or something in your life is out of alignment. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Try asking, what is my stuckness trying to show me? Let's move into some gentle, practical tools. It's nothing intense, nothing extreme, just a small, kind steps. So later today, ask yourself, where exactly do I feel stuck right now? Is it in your job, your relationship, your self confidence, your daily habits, or in your sense of purpose? Write it as one clear sentence. For example, I feel stuck in my career. I feel stuck because I don't know what I want, or I feel stuck in my routine. Once you name it, it becomes something you can work with, not just a heavy feeling floating above everything. And your brain gets scared by huge vague goals like change my life, start a business, become confident. Ask instead, what is one tiny step I could take in the right direction? Example. So, for example, instead of find a new career, spend 10 minutes writing a list of things you enjoy or are curious about. And instead of get fit, go for a 10 or 15-minute walk. And instead of be confident, do one small thing you'd usually avoid, like sharing your opinion. Tiny steps feel safe enough for your nervous system to allow actions, and big jumps feel threatening, and that's when you freeze. And remember to pay attention to the way you talk to yourself when you feel stuck. Do you say things like you're so lazy, you're a failure, you never finish anything? Imagine saying that to a friend. You would probably never do that. And try shifting the tone to something like I'm having a hard time right now, but I'm trying. I feel stuck and overwhelmed, and that's okay. I'm allowed to take small steps. This doesn't magically fix everything, but it makes your inner world safer, and we take more actions when we feel safe inside. Before you push yourself harder, pause and ask, what do I actually need right now? Maybe you need rest, support, clarity, or permission to let go of something that's no longer right. When your needs are ignored, you feel stuck. When your needs are met, you have more energy and courage to move. So every time you take a small step, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I showed up for myself today. Even if it's small, it matters. Or I'm building a momentum. Your brain starts to associate actions with pride instead of shame. And that makes it easier to keep going. So if you have a notebook, just write these down or just reflect on them later. So, where in my life do I feel stuck right now? If I wasn't allowed to call myself lazy, how would I describe what I'm really feeling? And the last one is, what is one tiny step I could take this week that would make me feel just 1% less stuck? Be gentle and honest with yourself, and there's no judgment here, only curiosity. And I have one tiny action for you this week, which is choose one small kind step in the area where you feel stuck and just do it. Just one. It could be having an honest conversation, writing down your thoughts, researching something you're curious about, or even finally admitting to yourself what you truly want. When you when you do it, take a moment to say, I'm not stuck, I'm moving, even if it's slowly. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for listening to my podcast. And if this episode made you feel a little less alone in your stuckness, it would mean a lot to me if you could follow or subscribe this podcast and come and say hi on my Instagram positive.mindset.adventures. Remember, you're not lazy, you're not behind, and you're not broken. You're a human. You're learning and growing at your own pace. I just want you to know that I'm proud of you for being here and talk to you in my next episode. Thank you once again. See you and bye.